Right. Okay. Well, let's crack on, shall we? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to a very special Iron Viz 2022 live event. We are announcing the winners of the feeder competition and revealing the top 10 shortlist and then the 3 finalists who are going to be competing live in Iron Viz for the Iron Viz crown. My name is Andy Cotgreave, evangelist at Tableau, co-author of the Big Book of Dashboards, and sometimes co-host of Iron Viz itself. I'm excited to be back live in Vegas in May. I'm joined by another great British colleague of mine, new to the global Iron Viz world, but not so much to the Iron Viz world itself. She's been around. Archana, say hi. Tell us who you are.
Thanks, Andy. I'm thrilled to be back presenting Iron Viz again. It's a staple of the Tableau Conference schedule. Day to day, though, I'm a program manager for the solution engineering team, helping undoubtedly the best team at Tableau scale their work and help even more customers see and understand their data. We're also joined today by special guest Nisa Marquez. Nisa, how are you today?
Hi, Archana. Hi, Andy. I'm very well. It's sunny in London, so very happy with that. Yeah, I'm Nisa. For people that don't know me, I am part of my day-to-day Mars. I'm a senior analyst. Outside of Mars, what I do, I'm part of Data Plus Women LATAM. I'm on the board of Viz for Social Goods, and I'm someone that is always on the community and Tableau community and love to see what people create and share with all of us. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's great to have you here with us, Nisa. Thank you for judging. We'll talk to you a little bit more about that experience in a few minutes. This year, the topic for the feeder was visualizing the arts, and that means anything art-related: film, drawing, photography, dance. I mean, you all covered all the topics. There are 198 entries into the feeder competition. 59% of the entries were from first timers, which we absolutely love seeing. So thank you, everybody, and congratulations to everybody, because essentially entering is a huge development of your own skills and just feeds the growth of the community. So thank you very much. Archana, tell us something about the prizes.
Yes, prizes. So our top 10 qualifiers will, of course, be earning the glory and the pride of being named an Iron Viz finalist. And all of them will be seeing some Tableau swag on their way. As for the top 3, they will be invited to come to Tableau Conference live in Las Vegas and compete for a total $10,000 US in cash, as well as $5,000 to donate to the nonprofit organization of their choice. Today, we're going to be announcing all 10 of our qualifier winners, and we'll start with the 7 honorable mentions, and then we'll go through the 3 finalists in a little bit more detail.
Amazing. Right. Well, before we get on with the top 10, let's talk about how, I almost left the meeting instead of pressing share. Let's talk about how we judged this competition. So let me share my screen and show the motley crew that were our judges. Archana, tell me, how do we judge the Iron Viz feeder?
So each entry is judged across 3 criteria: analysis, design, and storytelling. There were 2 rounds of judging. In the first round, an amazing group of community members and Tableau employees looked across hundreds of entries. The next slide, thank you. And Nisa, you're here in this list. Thank you for judging. I'm excited to get your perspective before we announce the top 3. But before we get there, thank you to all the judges who went through hundreds and hundreds of entries to get us to our top 10. Without further ado, let's share numbers 10 to 4. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I hope you're all ready. Tell us if you're ready in chat and give us lovely messages in chat for the people you see and recognize. Michael is ready. Christian Felix is ready. And somebody is super ready. Okay, let's go. Everybody, I'll stop stalling. Let's get started. Okay, number 10 is...
Art in public Art in Public Spaces by Ryan Soares. I tried to combine all of that into one sentence.
It's fine. It's economy of words is good. But sometimes it comes to bite us.
We've got a lot to cover today, Andy.
I know.
We've got to go fast. So in the last few years, we haven't been able to visit galleries and museums. And so this viz was a really great reminder of just how much art I'd probably still interacted with in public spaces like parks and government buildings. So well done, Ryan.
Well done, Ryan. Excellent job. And number 9, it's Vanessa Stockard's Wondrous World from Connie Zhang. This entry epitomizes to me the power and flexibility of data. I mean, this isn't about drive, business, superstore analytics, or your turnover or your sales. It's about an artist. And I love the way that in Iron Viz or in any part of our lives, we can learn something so human, or learn about something such a human part of our lives, art, by looking at it analytically. So I'd never heard of this artist, Connie, but I know a lot more about it now through the medium of data. Great job.
And next we go to number 8. It is Women Artworks at the MoMA by Natalie Richer. So Andy, you and I have discussed the long form dashboard versus the single screen dashboard at the Data Viz debates a couple of years ago. And I remember just sort of wild card throwing an option out there about the wide form dashboard. We always talk about long and thin, but what about, you know, our wide pals? And I love the way Natalie has used the left and right scroll here to sort of mimic the feeling of walking through a gallery, because her Viz is all about the Museum of Modern Art.
Great stuff. Congratulations, Natalie. Okay, number 7. It is Color Studies by Emily de Padua. This is another wide form dashboard, and I too love it. It's so wide. It scrolls from left to right. What Emily has done is analyze the color found in her friends' live music photography in New York over the past 5 or 6 years. And I mean, not only is that just a great idea and piece of analysis, I think that's really imaginative and powerful, beautiful tribute to your friend and her medium. But also there's a 15-minute video and podcast you can kind of listen to where she narrates the entire story. So amazing storytelling. And finally, she reminded me, if I haven't got a screenshot of it, but she covers one of the bands is Explosions in the Sky. Oh, great band. So thank you for giving those guys back to me. All right, number 6.
Number 6 was How to Make a Hit Movie by Maxwell Titzler. So with this one, I absolutely loved the interactive storytelling of this Viz, using the decisions you make at the start to sort of personalize the story along the way so that you can see how your movie compares with a typical box office hit. I actually can't really do this justice just by talking about it. So I think Alyssa is going to drop a link to it in the chat, and I highly recommend that anyone watching today on this webinar should go check it out. And it's funny. So this time last year, I was working with customers in the media industry, and some of Maxwell's Vizes were actually ones that I used with some of the studios that I worked with. So in particular, that waterfall chart at the end, showing relative cost and revenue along the way during the production process, was one that is actually being used by businesses.
Fantastic. I like it. Okay, and number 5 is The Beat Lives On by Oana Tudoranchia. And I apologize if I got your name wrong, but congratulations, Oana. So I feel like a broken record talking about this one. Ha 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 ha. It's Viz about sampling. Ha. But again, it's like one of the early ones. This is a data analysis about a piece of music. The R-Man break is a piece of a drum beat that's been sampled over 5,000 times. This Viz taught me a great deal. I already knew what the R-Man break, I don't know, never pronounced it before. But the thing about this story is it just brings different aspects to life that I'd never have got if I'd have been reading about it or just listening to a podcast about it. So beautiful Vizes, great variety of ways of showing the data, and a chance to go and listen to some hip hop and drum and bass. And who doesn't want to turn that down? Congratulations. Right. And finally, for this section,
we have Lost But Not Forgotten by Jade Wimpy. I love Jade's use of custom maps here, so that we can follow the journey of art thieves actually in the museum and use URL actions to then see inside the museum using the Google Street View, but for inside a building. I thought that was really cool. It sort of brought the story to life um, and made it that extra bit more interactive as well. And I think Jade in particular has got incredible attention to detail. Every tooltip was really beautifully formatted and provided so much more information about the story behind each painting that was stolen. And so, you know, if you have a good few hours, you could probably sit there and read through every single dot on that timeline and spend a good few hours with it.
There you go. That's the 10-4 numbers. Great seeing the comments coming in. Nathan says, Jade, you go, girl. That's fantastic. Congrats from Nathan for Oana. Somebody I saw, it's already scrolled out, said, I'm very corny with my jokes, but, you know, I'll take that as a compliment. I've been working on that for 50
Iron Viz
years.
Unless you are, yeah.
That's right, Archana, because you know that. That's why you're a host. There will be plenty of corny jokes coming your way live in Las Vegas. Anyway, before we do the three winners, let's hear a little bit more about the judging. Just, to tease you all, who's in the top three? We'll have to wait a moment. Nisa, welcome aboard. You've been a part of the community for a long time, and this time you are judging. Tell us something about the themes you saw this year.
Oh, it was amazing. The subject itself, it was art. So when I came in to judge, I thought, okay, it will be about paintings, majority of them. Maybe we'll have a little bit about movies. But as soon as I start judging, the first visualization I had to see, it was about manga. And I was like, I was learning so much already about manga. And then it was art streets. And then it was inclusion of women on the art world. And the music itself, it went from classic music to country music. And really interesting was the new capabilities that people are building now on the company. So the emerging trends. We had art in NFTs, which I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. Or even art, pixel art. So as you can see, you showed 10. Well, not 10 yet, but the 7.
Mm-hmm.
And we could see the array of themes that we had there. But it was much more than that. I think with each one of them, we could learn a little bit. It was amazing to be judged this year.
Absolutely. And the judging is based on 3 criteria. It's always analysis, design, and storytelling. Is the one that you enjoy the most?
Yes, storytelling for sure.
Storytelling, why is that?
Yes, because for me, storytelling is almost going a little bit inside of the head of the creator of the Viz, because they show us the insights that they find in the data set, but at the same time, they show us what they show, why is it important, what is the context with the other things that they are showing on the visualization, and what they want us to do next. Which is, for me, it's really interesting to go in, and it's almost like a wall. You have a piece of wall that you start untangling, and you follow that path through the mind of the creator. Yeah,
absolutely. What's inspired you the most then, looking through the entries you judged?
Well, there was, you think normally, as Archana already said, that Iron Viz is that long form that is more infographic. We had a lot of interaction on the visualizations. And some of them were really interesting in the aspect that was like a game. So you had to choose your path. And from the path, you will have a result. And one that was, for me, was really, really interesting was one that was the interpretation of art. And it was really with the images, and you had to interpret the image and choose what that meant to you. And then it gave you the score in comparison with others. So to me, I was like, oh, this is so cool. I have to try this on my next visualization. It's amazing. It's the only word that I can say, because you were really amazed with the power of creation and the variability.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, everybody in the team, we've been knocked out by the variety and quality of the entries, particularly because there was a really short turnaround from the previous Iron Viz. So thanks, Nisa, and thank you for judging, but thank you to all the judges. You've all spent a lot of time looking at a lot of entries, and each of them to be judged correctly demands quite a lot of time. So we greatly appreciate your judging. Archana, are you ready for the top 3?
Yes, But before we do, I want to remind everyone that the top three are not being shown in any particular order. They all won the feeder and will be competing live. Make sure to stick around to the end to get details about Iron Viz at Tableau Conference. So, all right, here we go. Our first finalist is winning the Archibald Prize by Kimley Scott.
Oh, sorry, I'm going to click on. Sorry.
So let me tell you a little bit about Kimley first before we jump into their viz. So Kimley resides in Melbourne, Australia, where she has lived nearly her whole life. She's been using Tableau since 2018 and was inspired to analyze and visualize the diversity in the arts after digging into data from previous Archibald Prize winners and found that lack of diversity was a common problem. Yeah, so you can see her viz on screen. And again, as with all the entries, I encourage you to go check them out for yourselves on Tableau Public. With this one, for me, I absolutely loved the layers of storytelling in Kimley's viz. She starts with a gorgeous sort of Dear Data style infographic about the diversity of the winners of the Archibald Prize, which is a prestigious portrait prize in Australia. And I think this viz alone is a super strong contender for an Iron Viz feeder. But then the cherry on the cake for me is the next level of analysis into things like the lack of diversity in the art world, the gender pay gap, the investment gap for ethnic minorities. And I think it brings some good old business intelligence into Iron Viz. These are all questions that I think many companies are grappling with today as well. So it sort of tied those two worlds together, the art of Iron Viz with sort of maybe the more traditional business that we use Tableau for day to day in our lives. Yeah,
brilliant. Congratulations, Kimley. Nisa, what was the judges' take on this?
Yeah, I think what is good is a lot of information, but it's made in a way that is simple and is easier to consume. And even with the charts that are a little bit outside of the box, there is a lot of explanation and legend. So it's very user-friendly. That is one of the points that really hit home for me. It's anyone could consume this type of visualization.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you both for feedback on that. So congratulations to Kimley. Number 2 of 3 finalists who will be duking it out live is The Art of Conversation by CJ Mays. So CJ is also living up here in sunny England. He's from Essex, and he began using Tableau only 2 years ago in 2020. And his viz was inspired by his love for business and entrepreneurship, both themes that appear throughout Stephen Bartlett's Diary of a CEO podcast. And I love the color scheme on this. It's reminiscent of Valentina De Filippo, Giorgia Lupi. I really see those inspirations coming through. It's just so calm, but so effective as well. You know, what I really like about this, not only is it aesthetically wonderful to look at, it's made up mostly of normal charts as well, and I love that. They're just standard charts. So that's really cool. There is even a jump chart, which is slightly outside the box, but is actually, once you've learned how to read these, very effective way of visualizing data. But what we can't show you on this static screen is that there are so many buttons to press, new layers to reveal, and explanatory instructional helpers on here. It is just breathtaking. So fully deserved position in the final from CJ Mays with Art of Conversation. Well done. Nisa, what was the judges' take?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Color scheme is to die for. It's beautiful. The analysis also is to another level, and using simple charts, not simple, but you know, they are the almost the standard ones. And the iconology that CJ used, it's all very consistent, and it makes the analysis, it just heightens the visualization itself. Yeah, it's a very strong visualization for sure.
Indeed, thank you. And Archana, that means there's room for one more finalist on the stage at Iron Viz in Las Vegas. You ready to announce it?
Yeah, our third finalist is Interpreting Art by Will Sutton. Nisa, you did mention this one earlier. That wasn't a plant or a hint. Nisa, I promise, wasn't made aware of the finalists ahead of time. So that shout out was completely natural, I should say. A little bit about Will before we get into the viz. Will grew up in the countryside of Suffolk in the east of England and moved to London 10 years ago in search of work. He has been using Tableau since 2014 or version 8.1. So, you know, it's a long time ago when the version of Tableau isn't even a year. And found the community in 2018. He was inspired during the 2020 lockdown in the UK when his family would regularly play a game called Draw for Two, a Pictionary type game where one member of his family would always make it really challenging to interpret the drawings. So he set up a quiz and asked the data fan whether they could interpret the drawings and then visualize the results in a game format. So on to my thoughts at first about the viz. So I thought this one was absolutely delightful. I won't lie, when I first opened it up, I was a little bit confused as to where we were headed. But again, once you interact with it yourself and you hit that submit button, once you put in your options, all is revealed. So it's another one that I encourage you to go check out for yourselves. And there's a little joke in there. There's a reference to a convicted croissant escaped supermarket. And I think it just has to be one of the funniest things I've heard all week. I think, Will, you have a career in like writing, I don't know, funny one-liners, passwords. I thought that was a great password.
Absolutely. It is. Yeah, great. Nisa, what was your take?
Yeah, I had that reaction to our channel. When I started, I was like, where are we going with it? I love, first of all, interpreting art, because I think all the paintings we interpret is subjective. But I started and I wasn't sure where it was going, but as soon I started kind of interacting with the viz, I had to go through it 2 or 3 times to see if I will get different results. But it was very well done and it's very creative. Congratulations.
Yeah, it is. Going back to what Nisa said about how many of the high quality entries really sort of demanded interaction this year. I think that was really, really clever from so many of you. Oh, there you go. We've got 3 finalists. That's it's so exciting. I've lost my ability to speak. So Archana, I'm going to rest. Close us out. Well, actually, first of all, I'll just say congratulations to everybody. If it was me, you'd all be on stage. Every contestant would be on stage. We'd have this crazy keynote with 198 people on it competing, because I think you all deserve to win. But Archana, it's not going to happen that way, is it? How can they actually watch the final?
Yeah, so make sure to tune in to watch the final showdown at Tableau Conference happening May 17th through May 19th. You can join us virtually or in person, and registration is now open for both those options. Yeah,
get signed up. Well, with that, there you go. It's Friday afternoon in the UK, so we're probably all going to wander off into the beautiful sunset and go and have a cold end of week beverage. Wherever you are in the world, enjoy the rest of your day. Nisa, thank you very much. Archana, thank you very much. To all who entered Iron Viz, thank you for making the data fan what it is. And to the 10 shortlisted and 3 finalists, congratulations. We absolutely loved what you did. So with that, have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Take care.